Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Take It With a Grain podcast, where we talk about Oklahoma lifestyle, real estate, business development, and really whatever we want to talk about because it's our podcast. So we're going to jump into today's first headline. But first, how is Skylar?
Good. Busy Monday yesterday. Not mad about it.
Yeah.
So leading into a busy Tuesday. So.
Good deal. Yeah. So you guys are watching this on Friday, but we do record on Tuesdays.
Yeah,
so
I kind of spoiled that, didn't I?
Yeah, a little bit. That's okay. We're just going to go ahead and jump into our first headline because this is something relevant happening this week. I know we had a little bit of this last weekend, but severe storms in Oklahoma. So a lot of what we've been seeing is high winds, tornado threats, hail, winds up to 75 miles an hour. But we want to talk about the fact that this is kind of normal for people that live here.
Storm season.
Yeah, I mean,
it comes every year.
Yeah, springtime. Everyone gets prepared. I mean, we have a storm shelter, but we have to go and vacuum it out, like make sure it's good to go.
We don't have a storm shelter.
I can't believe that because you guys have lived here for a while. So do you plan to put one in?
No.
What is your game plan?
I'm not getting down on one of them Brady halls.
So what do you do?
Take off.
You just run from it?
Yeah, just watch. Just pay attention. The only time it's scary to me at all is when it's dark outside.
Right.
Because tornadoes, if it's daylight, you can see them.
Mm-hmm.
So the only time that I get a little leery is when they come at night.
Well, and I feel like with tornadoes, especially now, we have so much technology that can detect them early, but they are very spur of the moment, like in the middle of the night. So
we're being in such a rural area too. Like it's not necessarily always as monitored, but fortunately we do have some local, a couple different local people that do pay attention to that and just make sure we pay attention
and help
to
us
those
out.
People. Yes.
Yeah. That's the big thing because the tornadoes are big, but you're also dealing with straight line winds, hail, causing a lot of damage. So that was
more. I worry about the straight line winds.
Yeah.
More than
tornadoes.
Well, we're just more likely to get some straight line wind damage than we are.
Yeah, I mean, even if you don't get hit by a tornado, you're dealing with the side effects of that as well. So that was a big thing. We spent all weekend clearing out space in the garage, getting things ready so we could park cars under cover and, the whole nine there. But we try to watch it as much as we can because I moved here 8 years ago and we didn't have tornadoes. Actually, one of my craziest tornado stories didn't even happen here. We were living in Colorado, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We had I want to say it was a F3 or F4, but we had one of those touchdown out where we lived. And we lived in a small town. I mean, it was maybe 80 people that lived in this. It was a post office, the school, and a little gas station. It wasn't like a Love's or anything. It was they called it Fuel Bees or something. It was small town. But tornado touchdown. No one in Colorado has a storm shelter, so we packed up.
That's not common.
No,
there, right? Or at least
we had. I think the most we'd ever had in a year, and this may be completely wrong, but I want to say 15. And they're usually little spin ups, like the Dust Devils is what we called them. So, but we had one year in particular, and we let all the horses out, so they weren't stuck in fences. They could run wherever they needed to. But we loaded up everything important in the truck and we took off. We drove for an hour or 2 hours, whatever. But they also don't have tornado sirens in Colorado.
So you don't have the warnings, which
no.
I mean, out where we live,
right?
There's no sirens.
Right.
Here.
So they had trucks that had sirens on them, and they drive around. I mean, it's a small town, so you only have to go down the old county roads and but we're leaving town with everything loaded up and we see these trucks going by with sirens. I had never seen anything like it living there, the 12 years that I did.
Well, and so that might incite panic just because it's not something that you're familiar with.
It wasn't normal. I mean, it was getting dark. Usually when tornadoes happens, when it's starting to get dark. But that was, we drove until we were out of the path. Well, then we come back home and we didn't really have a whole lot of damage. I mean, we had some windows knocked out from hail. And we ended up finding the horses. They came back but they ran a few miles to try to get to safety. But it ended up being a mile wide. That tornado.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it was pretty big. And luckily, like being out there as rural as we were, I mean, it tore up some fences and that was about it. But that was my first like tornado memory, and since then, living here 8 years, I feel like we haven't really had anything crazy like close. Like nearby towns have been hit, but we've always been out of the path. We've still gotten in the storm shelter from time to time because they talk about rotation and all that stuff going on. So just in case we jump in, but that was my earliest memory of tornadoes, which is crazy to think that it wasn't even Oklahoma.
I try to think of like my earliest tornado memory. We didn't have a storm shelter at my house growing up either. Like honestly, if I really am thinking about it, I don't think I've ever lived in a house that has a tornado.
That's crazy. And you've lived
I'm
in
like
Oklahoma.
trying to think about it, and I'm pretty sure never.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, my mom's current house, she has like a stand-up one, but and she's had one in her last 2 homes, but I mean, not that I've lived in with her, but
right.
I've never personally lived in a house before. But my earliest memory, we lived across the street from my aunt, and we did get it. I was little, I mean, and it was nighttime. So I remember my mom getting me up in my pajamas and like taking me over, like, we lived out in the country, so when I say across the street, you know, it's like
right down the long driveway. Yeah.
But we went over there, and I remember like having to get down in her storm shelter, and then they like, I don't think we ever shut the door. Like, they like had us down in there, and then everybody was like, the kids were down in the shelter, and then the adults were like standing up, like
right, looking at the sky.
And I'm pretty sure the door never even like closed. But that's the only memory I have of ever being in a storm shelter. Period.
For a storm.
Yeah, I mean, at all. Besides, like, going to check one out, like, in a listing or something.
Right.
But, yeah, I don't.
Because that's what we do. So whenever we have tornado, like, threats going on, or they're, like, we're in a tornado watch, or there's a warning, we'll go down in the shelter, and whoever has the best cell service is standing at the top of the stairs with the door cracked open. Because once you shut that door, there's no service.
Oh, yeah. No.
So, but that's a big thing that we've...
They get hot down there.
Yeah. We've been talking about getting like the CB radios so we can still hear what's going on, extra batteries, food supplies. Ideally, we'd like to not be stuck in there for more than 24 hours. But the truth is, like, the one at my mom's house is in her house. It's like in the mudroom. So if that house comes down, you go out like the back door, and to your right is the storm cellar. And then, because that's like the mud room, and then you can go out to the backyard. So,
at least you don't have to like go through the storm to get to the storm shelter. Because some houses, the storm shelter is like way away from the from the house, and you're like, you're going to be soaked by the time you get from there to there.
Yeah. Well, luckily, the one in the house we're living in now is right off the back porch. Yeah. So, like, you might get a little wet, but like, that's the biggest thing. I worry about being stuck underneath the entire house coming down in the cellar.
When you're showing houses to buyers, how important is a storm shelter to them typically?
It really depends. And I say that because price point makes a huge difference. If we're looking at $150,000 or $200,000, they want to make sure it's already there. But if it's somebody that is buying in the 200 plus range, maybe has some acreage with it, they're like, well, we can put in a storm cellar for 10 grand.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I emphasize that, like, hey, it doesn't have this, but $10,000 gets you a cellar.
And I feel like what I see more is not necessarily a price point difference, but a geographic difference. So, like, where's the buyer coming from? Because
exactly.
If they're Oklahoma natives, they're like, well, I mean,
we'll put it in. We'll
get one of those eventually, or like, I know the Choctaws have a program for a lot of their members that if they buy a home, like they get like one a lifetime. I think, don't quote me on that.
Right.
But there's something like that with the, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do have a client that's a HUD 184 or something like that.
Right.
If they have not used that benefit, I think they get one a lifetime.
Okay. We'll have to look into
verify that information,
right.
But they will put one in for them. So that's,
right.
an option also. But I feel like most of my people that are Oklahoma native are not like typically
not
worried
concerned about
whether
it.
like cool if it has it, but like
right.
not a deal breaker if it doesn't. And then I've had out of state clients that are like, it's absolutely a deal breaker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't show me a house that doesn't have a storm shelter. So
I think my first ever listing were Arizona buyers, and that was their big thing, which luckily, like, this house was built in the 40s, but it had one directly off the front porch.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that one was really cool because it had a remote. So you could click the button and it would open the door automatically.
That's fun.
Yeah, so that was it was a big concern when they were looking. They weren't my buyers, but I remember Shelby telling me, she's like, it's got to have that. So does it? And she's like, yeah. I was like, it's even got a bed down there. Like they had a bed and yeah. So, but yeah, I think it's super important for people that are looking to move here. Like it's one of the reasons we bought the house. My mom bought the house that she did because it had a cellar. It had the land they needed. Like that being said, though, they would have put one in for They would have
just done it. Yeah.
I think those above ground ones are even cheaper than that.
Yeah.
Depending.
Mom won't go down in, so she has them like in her garage, like the standing ones.
Yeah. Those are really neat. I would prefer an above ground. I mean, whether it's indoor or outdoor, because they have both.
Listen, I'm claustrophobic. I'm not. Like
you're not getting in them, period?
No, so like even on like the house I've been working on, I got down in there after we had some rain just to make sure that it was dry and all the things, and I was like down, quick lap, right back out.
Right back out, yeah. I don't blame you.
And it wasn't even storming outside.
Right, because it does. It gets muggy in there, and I mean, even if they're ventilated.
Oh, it's the claustrophobic thing for me. It's small space. I can get stuck in here. No, thank you.
My mom's is the spiders that like to hang out, and they live down there. So
spiders don't bother me, but
yeah, that's
small space.
Yeah, but I think it's super important, and I don't know. It's something I'd rather have for safety than anything, because I mean, that's all we did in Colorado, because that wasn't a thing. No one had a tornado shelter. Yeah. Like you just drove away.
Is there like public shelters or no?
I mean,
because here
the schools, so they did the schools, and then Colorado is huge on basements. So I mean, I don't think we had a basement at that house, but had we, that would have been the best place to be, in the basement, in a closet, somewhere like that. But yeah, that was something that was big for us when we moved from Colorado. So I do think people pay attention to that for sure.
Yeah, especially the people moving from out of state.
Yeah.
And, I mean, some Oklahoma natives really care about that, but I think it's lesser if you grew up here and you're like, yes, we have tornadoes. Like,
well, and it's kind of like a sport.
It's not like you're not scared of them, because obviously they're scary, but it's more common, so it's not as intense of a fear.
Right. I think the Oklahoma stereotype is that everybody goes out on their front porch or their back 40 and watches the sky. Yeah. It's kind of, it's something that I've kind of
I might fit that stereotype.
Yeah. I'm like, anytime the weather gets crazy, I'll go out in the front yard and look up at the sky and watch it come in. And the last time we had like a threat, I mean, we've never been hit in town in Wynnewood that I know of. Like, I think there was one maybe. But I go out in the front yard and I'm looking up at the sky, and my neighbor walks out of his house and he's looking up, and then we'll kind of congregate together and start watching it together until we start getting like the alerts and stuff. Because we can hear the sirens from our house, like inside the house too.
From the ones from town? That's kind of impressive.
We're like on the east, so we can hear those, but then now like your phone will go off.
Yeah.
And usually it's pretty accurate, but you hardly even watch the news for that stuff anymore. So
yeah, you have everything at the tip of your fingers.
Yeah. So okay, well that brings us into our second segment. Do you like Zach Bryan?
My kids really love Zach Bryan.
You like Zach Bryan?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he had a concert. This would have been April the 3rd. As we're recording, it's the 7th. By the time you're watching, it'll be like the 9th or the 10th. But Zach Bryan did have a concert in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I didn't know this about him. I knew he was from here. He's from Aluga. But I didn't know that he served in the military before he like blew up as an artist. So that's awesome. But he did have a concert that he canceled. His only concert he's ever canceled. like in his career touring.
Mm-hmm.
Just released his new album. It's like an entire acoustic album, which is really cool.
Yeah, I love acoustic.
Yeah, but he canceled it because of tornadoes, of course.
Okay.
And I can't say that I blame him, but there's a ton of people that are mad about it because they flew in from wherever, like cross country, to see him perform, like near his hometown.
Yeah, he draws a crowd from everywhere.
Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't even like it was a small venue, like hardly anyone there. Like it's Zach Bryan in his like near his hometown, his home state in general, but it was also sold out. A sold out show.
What did they reschedule?
He did perform the 4th, but he didn't do the show for the 3rd, and so that's why people were really angry about it. They're like, well, we flew in, we got, hotels, we paid. He did refund everybody's tickets, of course, but just not something that you see a whole lot from someone, especially like Zach Bryan, that's never canceled a concert. I mean, as a fan, if you flew in from Florida or, I mean, anywhere more than a 2-hour flight, are you upset that happened?
Well, I don't know how you're not at least a little bit upset.
Right.
Because you've got expense and time and,
right.
You're excited about a show, but also, was it safe?
Right.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't even remember really what was happening on that day. I mean, I know that we had some crazy weather, but...
there was a huge supercell over OKC that day, I think.
Yeah, and then Tulsa particularly, I don't know what their weather was like that day, so I don't know if the cancel was warranted or not. But I
mean, because that's 3 hours from us, so it's kind of
so I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it was that bad. I can't speak to that.
Mm-hmm.
But also there's a safety factor, and it may I don't know. Again, I didn't even know any of this happened, so that's how much I stay in tune with that kind of stuff.
Right.
But was it just his choice, or was it a venue? Was the venue involved in the cancellation?
So the venue was, they were saying that there was, the tornado threats. I mean, it was all speculative because they canceled it that morning. It was an evening show. And ultimately, it was the venue that was like, hey, I don't know if this is the best idea. And I think Zach was behind that decision at some degree.
At some level, yeah.
Yeah, but he ultimately decided to cancel it. I mean, you think about it, a sold-out show is, 60,000 people? So how do you get 60,000 people to safety?
Somewhere safe if it does get bad.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know that. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't 100% his decision either, because I'm sure the venue had...
He would have loved to still perform that
had
night.
A say in that cancellation. So it's hard, but you have to keep in mind that they have 60,000 people's safety that they're worried about.
Yeah.
So I just think there's more factors to it than just being mad at one person.
Yeah.
For cancellation.
What I think of when I think of that is I don't know if you saw Tropicana Field in Tampa. They had a huge hurricane that hit there, and it destroyed that stadium. I mean, this was 2 or 3 years ago, and they just now got it back up to the point where they could host baseball games. They could do concerts in the stadium. So you talk about how much damage that would have caused, plus the amount of people in that area. I just don't think it was the best idea, but that's just kind of part of living here. Like you're gonna have cancellations.
Yeah, and especially in the spring, that's our heavy weather season. I mean, I'm not saying we don't get it in the fall. I mean, we've had tornadoes in the fall before.
Oh yeah.
It's just more common, and I think more expected in the spring. So
I think it's getting worse as time goes on too. Like I think we had a record year for tornadoes last year. Which was crazy. And then the year before was the Sulphur tornadoes. And that was like 4, like back to back. I mean, within an hour, they had 4.
I had just left there that morning. Actually, our company had our leadership retreat in Sulphur that week.
Yeah, you guys were, what's that called?
The Chickasaw Recreation Center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we had been there all week, which I'm familiar with Sulphur because, we're 30 minutes down the road. But a lot of the people that were at that event had never actually spent any time in Sulphur. So they had kind of fallen in love with the little community of Sulphur, and a lot of them had planned on taking like their families back. They're like, oh my gosh, I want to bring my husband and come stay, or like bring my kids and do this and that. And so less than 24 hours after us leaving, Sulphur got hit by that tornado. So
yeah,
that's been a
or
topic.
That chain of them, because there was like 4
yeah,
or 5.
Yeah. I know there was 2 that hit downtown really hard.
And that was like the coolest little downtown spot.
And they are rebuilding. Like,
yeah.
And a lot of it is some's faster than others.
Right.
To be expected.
Right.
But I know that little community is definitely trying to rally. But
I remember they did they have like name placards or something you had to put in your car to tell like the locals that you were like a resident there?
Oh, probably.
Because they like pretty much quarantined the town so you couldn't pass through it.
Yeah.
From what I remember, it's been a couple years.
I don't remember the details, but I would imagine because it was the biggest tornado we've had in Oklahoma probably since like the
2013
ones.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they had a bunch of people just driving down to look, and so keeping that traffic out of there so they can actively clean up. I'm sure they had some type of system in place.
Yeah. Do you remember where you were for the more tornadoes? Were you here? Or actually, you would have been... I know that was a long...
What year? I don't know what year that was. I don't know that I
want to say it was 2013.
If it was 13, I would have been living in Edmond.
Yeah, so you were north of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really remember.
I remember my aunt telling me a story, and she worked as a bank teller in Moore when that tornado like was coming through. I mean, it was an EF5, wasn't it?
Don't get me to lie.
I believe it was. I believe it was one of the biggest like the country's ever seen. And when it came through, she was working at the bank, and they had them get in the vault. Customers, tellers, whoever was just get in the vault. They didn't care about anybody like going through,
just get in
cash
there.
Tills or anything.
Everybody safe.
Yeah. But that was a really big tornado that had a huge impact. And again, they're probably completely rebuilt at this point. But that was entire neighborhoods. Took a while. Yeah, but we're seeing that same thing with Sulphur. I mean, they're still rebuilding down there, which is. I mean, it was devastating, and that's only 20 minutes from here.
Even if you go downtown, still, I mean, a lot of the places have rebuilt. Like,
right.
The Mixed Mercantile rebuilt a new, beautiful building, and they have, I mean, their space is gorgeous. But when you drive through town, there's still definitely some places
some signs
are still down,
right.
I mean, are still demolished or like partially standing. So you still can see the damage and feel it when you drive through there.
I remember showing so many houses down in that area that had some form of tornado damage to investors, and they were like discounted accordingly. I remember we were talking about the winery that was there. So I think they're still doing like online stuff, but
they have a small space currently.
Oh, do they?
They are open in a brick and mortar again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not as big as the space that they had previously, but they do have a brick and mortar back.
Right.
Open.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was. I mean, even some of the title companies, like I closed down at is it Arbuckle
in Ardmore?
No, in Sulphur.
Sulphur Abstract.
Sulphur Abstract. So they're in the bank right now.
Yes, they I think are really close to moving back into their building.
Yeah.
Into a building.
Right. Just I mean, 2 or 3 years. That's a long time, but it's what happens. I mean, it takes a long time to rebuild after something like that, and especially after getting hit by 4 of them in a row. I mean, you're talking about businesses, people's homes. Yeah. So lots of damage going on, but
commercial and residential.
Yeah. But just, I guess if we had any advice, just try to stay weather aware. Obviously,
yeah, just pay attention.
Like you can't save a house. I mean, no matter how much preparation you put into it, I mean, the tornado is going to pick it up and destroy it.
If it's going to get it, it's going to get it.
I'd rather you guys get out with your lives and
absolutely.
You can replace tangible items. But it's an adjustment you have to make. So my mom grew up in California, and their biggest thing there was earthquakes.
Yes.
So she's like, earthquake. Remember she was telling me a story. They went to Puerto Vallarta on their honeymoon, and they were on the 14th floor of this resort building, and they had, I don't even know, it might have been a 4-pointer, something. I mean, it wasn't like huge, but it wasn't like a small little like, okay, we got like a few tremors.
Right.
And they're on the 14th floor, just got done with room service in the morning, like ate their breakfast. We're going to go down to the beach. And the ground starts shaking, and that building just sat there and swayed back and forth.
Oh,
They're like,
so
what do
freaky.
what do you do? I mean, you're on the
what do you
14th
do?
floor of this resort. Do you go down stairs are a no-go? Because if that building comes down, but then if it comes down, you're going down with it.
Yeah, so what?
Yeah, find a doorway and hang on for life. But that was their biggest adjustment moving here, was like, we had some tornadoes in Colorado, but
not like here.
nothing like here. But again, just stay weather aware.
Yeah.
You can't predict them. I would take tornadoes over hurricanes though any day.
Oh yeah.
Is that, you feel the same way?
Yeah, they're shorter.
Yeah, they're way shorter. I guess the only benefit of knowing a hurrine is coming is that you know it's coming.
You know it's coming.
Right.
That'd be the big difference. Is with a tornado, you're like, maybe,
right,
maybe not. You don't know until it really happens. So with a hurricane, you do know.
But a hurricane's like a 2-week endeavor.
But yeah, but it lasts a long time. So like, it's just
right. Yeah.
I'm a high efficiency person. So.
I remember seeing, I can't remember, maybe it was Ivan, but there was a big one last year that hit all of like the west half of Florida, and seeing like the video streams of everybody leaving like on the interstates, and it was just backed up traffic all the way into like Georgia. Florida Georgia line was crazy. I would pick tornadoes any day of the week over a hurricane.
If I had to choose a severe weather event, I'm probably going to go that direction.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to switch gears a little bit. So something that we've been working on for a long time that I think we're all super excited about here at the office, to do with one of our own communities, and someone within our community that's doing something really awesome, which we all get to be the head of, but mostly you, because you're taking on the listings on that. So I wanted to touch on the Oklahoma Housing Stability Program a little bit.
Yeah. So B&B Industries, this has been trying to happen for a couple of years. And so they have worked very diligently for the last 2 years to get funding from the Oklahoma Housing Stability Program. This is a program through OFA to build these houses. And the whole goal with this program is to provide affordable housing to rural communities. But the whole thing behind this is it's not, these houses aren't going to be thrown up. I mean, they have 2x6 construction.
Right.
They have spray foam insulation. These are going to be extremely well built properties. Right. And these particular ones are all going on two lots. So they're not going to be
right next to each other.
Yeah, they're not going to be piled on top of each other. They're
right.
going to be beautiful homes. And so the whole goal, though, is to keep these as affordable as possible. So I think one of the biggest kind of questions or not concerns, but hurdles we've had so far is people thinking that these are custom built properties. And they're not. So with that program, there are certain specs and regulations that they have to meet.
Okay.
So they can't be over a certain square footage.
Right.
We can't go over a certain price point. There's certain finishes that we can do, certain finishes that we can't.
I remember you saying more like we're sticking to the floor plan, so we can't move walls.
We can't move walls. Depending on when a buyer gets under contract on one of these properties, they might be able to choose some of the finishes.
So what are we thinking?
We
like
can't
flooring,
guarantee that.
Paint, stuff like that?
Yeah, just simple stuff.
Okay.
But again, we can't guarantee that. So whatever product has already been ordered, we can't change it.
Right.
And then we can't change that. And then even if we do allow for some customizations, if you get in early enough to do some customizations, you're going to have a budget that we have to stick within. And if you go over that budget, then that's a different conversation we'll have at a later time. But ideally, we keep these in that budget range. So these are pretty much a nonprofit situation for the company that's handling all of that, and then ourselves. I mean, this project is really focused on community development and not income.
Right, making money off of it.
Yeah, not income. So
right.
This is I'm really excited to be a part of it. Wynniewood is where like I do life. It's where my kiddo goes to school. So to be able to give back to that community and provide some housing that is truly going to be beautiful homes, beautiful, well-built homes at affordable pricing. Like, I'm really excited for that. And then because this is in conjunction with OFA, they're depending on buyer qualifications. There's some financing opportunities that we have available, so we get these buyers in these homes even cheaper.
As long as they qualify for those programs.
Yeah, they just have to qualify for the programs. Right. We do have a lender that we're working closely with that's going to try to have some alternatives if the buyer cannot qualify for the OPA program, so that we have some other incentives for those buyers. We're still working out details, and we'll get more of that out. And I do intend to get more information just about this program and about these houses out, hopefully on the podcast as well. Would love to get Russ Brown on here and get him talking. This was his vision, and
because he's GCing it all, right?
Yeah. B&B Industries out of Wynniewood, but Russ has been the one who has really spearheaded kind of getting the program rolling, and then his family and his team have really backed him on this project and helping him keep it going and all the things. So I want to get him on the podcast just to share like why this was on his heart and like why this is something he wants to do for his community and what the result he wants to see. But
how awesome is that there's going to be an affordable option? And like you said, they're not cookie cutter. They're not like right on top of each other. No, they're all
different.
That's just so awesome that's an opportunity for our community, because we do have a shorting of housing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, it's a problem we've had for a little while.
Especially newer housing in our area. So we have 3 that are under construction now. One of those is sold, so we have 2 that are still available. One that's really close to finished, and then the other one's not too far behind it. But so we do have 2 that are ready for buyers. Like, we can contract on those, and then once we get these 3 under contract, then the plan is to start 3 more. And we'll just have to see like what the demand for these properties is. I mean, if people keep buying them, he'll keep building them. Right.
I mean, it's when you're building them to sell them at cost. I mean, I feel like they'll move pretty quick, but they're only doing them 3 at a time. So it's going to allow for some people that hear about it now that maybe need some work done with their credit, or
they have a property they need to sell. Because the other thing is these are going to all be done in phases, so it's not really like a pick and choose situation. So the lots are all platted, but we are going in like a certain order, and so they'll keep people keep buying them, they'll keep coming for a while, but just kind of have to see how it goes and make sure that we're meeting those requirements through OFA. And then, buyers, if you guys have any questions about the financing side, like we do have a lender that's working closely with us on this. You're welcome to use your own lender, of course, but if you would like to be connected with ours, she's familiar with the program and the incentives that can be available to certain buyers if you qualify. And
she's a good human too.
Yes, so. She's a good human with a good heart, which is like what I love the most about this program and the people that are involved in this situation. Is it's truly a situation where people are just trying to give back to the community in which they live.
So phase 1 is set to be done summer-ish.
Yeah, hopefully these 3 will all be completed by summer. The second house, 114, it's close. I think we've got like a door, some flooring, concrete, final grade. So just little stuff left.
And then they're going to start the rest of them. So in pairs of 3, but after those other 2 have contracted. So it'll go in phases of 3 houses at a time. Is the plan, always subject to change depending on just where they're at in the process.
Just kind of where each one's at in the process, and then demand. How in demand these homes are. So.
Yeah, and they're in a great location too. Like, you're pretty close to town, but you're not, like you said, on top of people.
They are in city limits. They're in Wynnewood city limits, Wynnewood schools, but they're on the outer edge of town. So.
Right. Yeah.
Easy access to stuff. You're close to Highway 29.
Right. I'm going to try to put all that information too in the description. So if you missed some of that, or you just want an easier way to get our lender's information, or
if you have got questions about this program, whether it's like, what is this program exactly? What are you guys trying to do? Or, hey, I'm interested in one of these homes. Like, I would love to answer any questions I can about the project. It's
one of the cooler things that I think that we've been a part of in recent times. Like, I've only had my license since May of 24, but it's one of those things that, like, I'm super pumped to get started on. And, like, once we start moving them, like, get some people into some affordable housing, because it is a huge opportunity. We're seeing, you know, there
is no other new construction really at all.
Right. So we're,
there is a development in Pauls Valley that it has been going up, but that is primarily rental based. I do believe there will be some homes for sale in there eventually, but what they're constructing now is all rental properties, and these that we're doing in Wynnewood will all be for sale.
Yeah, that'll be huge for our community. For, I mean, people that have either wanted to get into something brand new, or maybe even first time home buyers. That's a huge.
These are great opportunity for first time home buyer, especially with if they qualify for some of the financing incentives.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll put some pictures too, so you guys can kind of see what those look like on the screen while we're talking about them. But I think that wraps up our episode for today. So whether the lifestyle and then the growth, what we're having it just in our own small community, because Wynnewood's not a huge town.
Nope,
I mean,
but I love it.
We're very small town, rural. I mean, that being said, we have a huge growth opportunity right here that I think people should be taking advantage of as soon as they can, because there's not an opportunity like this out there, at least in our county. I mean, the further you go up to, like, the city, the metro,
get into some new construction stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a huge step for our community, especially being halfway between Dallas and OKC. I mean, it's going to open up a lot of new opportunities for people, like, that have jobs in this area or are raising kids in this area. So really excited for that. But I think that's 3. We did 3 segments.
3.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning into the podcast. Like we said just now, if you guys have any questions about the Oklahoma Housing Stability Program, please reach out to us directly, or find the links to it in the description of this video. It might be on the top if you're on Facebook, in the comments. We'll put it somewhere. But yeah, appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week.